Hey, this is Mike from the Run Testers, and in this video we're going to be talking about how the Saucony Triumph 21 compares to the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. Now, it's fair to say that these two shoes fit in the same category in terms of the types of runs that they are designed for. So what we're going to do is take you through the key differences between these two shoes. Myself and Tom will take you through our running experiences and I'll let you know whether you should go for the Saucony Triumph 21 or the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. So here's the key stats about the Saucony Triumph 21 and the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. They're both priced roughly the same, with the Triumph available for £170 or $160 and the Gel-Nimbus 25 coming in at £175 or $160. Weight-wise, the Triumph 21 weighed in lighter for us in a UK size 8, coming in at 279 grams compared to 290 grams on the Gel-Nimbus 25. The Saucony shoe has a 10mm drop, while the Nimbus has a lower 8mm one, with both shoes using a knit style upper to keep your feet locked in and well supported. In the midsole, Saucony uses its Power Run Plus cushioning along with its Power Run Plus sock liner, with the Gel-Nimbus 25 using FF Blast Eco Plus cushioning that's also present in the Kayano 30. It uses an Northlight sock liner to also keep things comfortable from the inside. The department, Asics uses one of its AHA rubber ones, while Saucony opts for a carbon rubber outsole, with both primarily built for road and pavement time.
The fit for me in these two shoes, I would stay to my size in both of them. Very comfortable. I'm a size 8 UK, these are both size 8s UK. I found both of these, the Triumph 21 is very comfortable shoe, nice and spacious, not too spacious, you still get a nice lockdown fit in it. The new upper is nice and breathable, very comfortable, and there's a nice bit of padding around the ankle collar as well. So I'd definitely stay to my size in the Saucony Triumph 21. Same goes to the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25, very comfortable shoe, nice level of padding, and nice bit of space in the forefoot. So yeah, I'd stay to my size in both of these shoes.
So how do these two shoes fit? I would say very good overall. I've had these both in a UK size 8 and I haven't felt like I've needed to go up or down a size in either of these shoes. They work very fine on my skinny feet, and I think for most people going true to size should be absolutely fine. I'm pretty satisfied in terms of level of space you're getting up front of the toes on both these shoes. Pretty similar on that front. I think you're getting a good hold at the midfoot as well. I've got good lockdown from the laces and the tongue combinations on both these shoes. Pretty similar lacing that you're getting. The tongues are slightly different. You're getting a skinnier, stretchier one on the Gel-Nimbus 25. You're getting something a bit more traditional in terms of look on the Triumph 21, which is still thin, but it's maybe a little bit more that kind of conventional padding you're getting. You're getting padding around the heel collars as well. I would say that it's a little bit more plush feeling in terms of what you're getting on the Gel-Nimbus 25, and it really feeds into the theme of what you're getting in the upper in general on the Gel-Nimbus 25 and how it feels in terms of that fit. It definitely fits a little bit more snug compared to the Triumph 21, where I think it's a little bit more on the supportive side in terms of how the upper is designed. But ultimately, they both fit very well. As I said, on my UK size 8s, I think they fit absolutely fine. I think for most people who go true to size, you should be absolutely fine in both of these shoes.
Okay, so the run test in both of these. So I've done probably about 80k in the Triumph 21 now. Probably did about 50k in the Gel-Nimbus 25. I'd probably say that the other run testers are bigger fans of the Nimbus 25 than me. I like the shoe, I just have other shoes that I prefer when it comes to cushioning, like the Saucony Triumph 21. But let's start with the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. I think the new design for the Nimbus range is a big improvement on the previous versions. The previous versions were fine, but I just never really got on with them. They just didn't feel like they were really conducive to a nice, comfortable, fluid run. They just felt like easy day workhorses to me, and I didn't really get a lot out of them. The Asics Gel-Nimbus 25 has seen loads of improvements. It's essentially a new shoe. Still has the pure gel technology in it, but that midsole foam is a really nice balance. So similar to like the sort of foam that you'll get in the New Balance More V4, which is one of my favourite cushion shoes. So it's got a nice level of firmness. It feels nice and stable on the run, but it's still not too firm. It's got a nice balanced midsole, so it's got a little bit of softness in it as well. It's not bouncy really for me, but it's got a nice fluid transition in it that makes easy runs and longer runs feel quite nice. And it's just a solid cushion shoe for me. You can't really go wrong with it. Feels like you're you're moving along nicely, and a nice comfortable rate. But other than that, it doesn't really stand out for me. I think it's just a very solid cushioned shoe, and most people will probably enjoy it. Whereas the Triumph 21, I think, is a exceptional shoe in a lot of ways. Unlike the Nimbus 25, Gel-Nimbus 25, which isn't necessarily a versatile shoe, it's an easy day shoe, it's a slow, longer run shoe. The Triumph 21 is a versatile shoe, and it's really becoming more of a daily shoe these days, a cushioned daily shoe. And I think the reason for that is this Power Run Plus midsole foam that's in it. It's a really nice foam. Reminds me of more performance focused foams. It feels bouncy, it feels light, feels like it's popping you off when you're running. And I think that when it comes to versatility, this is really getting up there with daily trainers and in how you can use it. I definitely wouldn't say it's the fastest shoe in the world. If you're looking at something like Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, that is a shoe that you can do easier days in and you can race in. I wouldn't race in this if I was racing, but I think if you're the sort of runner that really you're training for a marathon or something like that, and your aim is maybe to get like a 4-hour marathon or slower than that, and your main focus is just to get across the finish line in a shoe that makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel like it's helping you along the way. Triumph 21 is great for that. It just feels like a cushioned performance shoe for me, and I just enjoy running in it. There's a couple of shoes that I have in my collection that I really like wearing if I'm going out for a long run, and I don't really want to go for a long run. Something like the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25, if I'm going for a long run, I'm not going to pick this up just because I'm not going to get any enjoyment out of it in the same way that I'll get from the Triumph 21. I just think it's a lovely fluid transition, a little bit of pop on the run, and it's just a really nice shoe to wear. I'd probably say that you could probably go up to a certain pace with this as well, where you were maybe speeding up a bit and you're using it for slower intervals or longer intervals. So it does have that nice bit of versatility in it as well, which you won't get from a shoe like the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. But yeah, Triumph 21 is still, it's very similar to the 20. The only differences are really in the upper. So the Triumph 20 is, I could be saying all this stuff about the Triumph 20, which is cheaper now. But it's just a great, solid, daily cushion shoe, which if you were going on holiday and you wanted one shoe to do all your training in, this is a nice option. You wouldn't be able to do fastest runs in it, but it's a nice, comfortable option. And if you're sort of runner wanted one pair of running shoes for all of your running, and you maybe weren't going for like a 3-hour marathon time, this would be a good option as well.
So into that run test now, I've had the Gel-Nimbus 25 for longer, and it's kind of worked its way into my rotation, particularly for those kind of pressures off kind of types of runs and those kind of longer runs where I'm not really that fussed about running quick. Now the Triumph 21 is designed for the same types of runs. I've definitely found it's been creeping into the types of runs that I would use this shoe for, and I've kind of been looking at both of these shoes for the same types of runs. Now the first thing I would say in terms of my running experiences, that these are very comfortable shoes. I've had no issues in terms of discomfort. I think you get a nice step in feel with both of these shoes. I think you do get a nice feel in terms of those kind of midsoles, and you're getting protection there, and a kind of nice kind of plush feel here as well too. Now ultimately, I do think there's some differences in terms of the rides and the types of runs that I think these shoes can work for. Now I think that's really down to what you're getting in that kind of midsole ultimately. I think on the Gel-Nimbus 25, it's definitely a plush feeling shoe, and you do really sink into that midsole foam. And in terms of the ride, I think it prioritised that comfort, prioritised that protection, but ultimately I don't think the ride is massively exciting. It's pretty flat in general. It's not bad, but it's pretty flat, not massively exciting, but I do think it's enough to kind of get you to want to spend a lot of time in this shoe and ultimately be able to run a lot longer in it. Now I think with the Triumph 21, it's plush as well. I don't think it's as plush as the midsole on the Gel-Nimbus 25, but it's enough there to make it feel comfortable, to make you feel like you've got a good level of protection. I do think there's a little bit more of a more notable rocker feeling in the Triumph 21, and ultimately it does make it feel like you can run a little bit quicker in it. I found when I picked the pace up a little bit in this shoe, it's felt more comfortable to do this, where I think on the Gel-Nimbus 25, it doesn't feel like it wants to run relatively quick like you could do in the previous kind of Nimbus shoes. So for me, this feels a little bit more versatile, the Triumph 21, whereas I think with the Gel-Nimbus 25, it's really about that plush level of comfort, which I think that's where it really excels on ultimately. Now, in terms of durability, I think these are shoes that are going to handle a lot of running time. I do think when you look at the outsoles, I think you are getting a little bit more in terms of that outsole on the Saucony Triumph 21. I think in terms of the grip, I've had no real issues in terms of the surfaces I've run on. I think you could probably earn a little bit of kind of the lighter trails with these Triumph 21, more so than the Gel-Nimbus 25, if you kind of do mix up your terrain, and it will be absolutely fine. And I have found in my runs when I've done, it's been absolutely fine on that front. So I do think, if you know, from a comfort point of view, from a fit point of view, they're both very well kind of designed from that point of view. I do think in terms of the types of runs they're designed for, primarily, they work very well on that front. What I would say is I have found that when I wanted to run or pick up the pace slightly in a shoe, this one has been the better, the Triumph 21 from that point of view. But I think in terms of those kind of the main types of runs these shoes are designed for, they work very well on that front. I just think I've got a little bit more out of the Triumph 21. I always favour a shoe that gives you the scope to run a couple of different runs, or it's a shoe that you can change what you're going to do in a session ultimately. So in terms of my run test, very positive in both these fronts. I think from a kind of comfort point of view, protection, the kind of ride that you're getting and experience you're getting, and the types of runs they are designed for. I do think for me personally, the Triumph 21 feels a little bit nicer if you want to pick up the pace in places in your runs. Again, the Gel-Nimbus 25, it's nice and comfortable. It is a shoe well suited for running long, and if that's something that you prioritise and will look for in a shoe primarily, in terms of that comfort, then this is a shoe that's going to deliver on that front as well too.
So my verdict on the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25 and the Saucony Triumph 21 is that they're two very different sorts of cushion shoes. The Asics Gel-Nimbus 25 is a solid, comfortable, enjoyable workhorse shoe for slower runs, and it's very balanced as well. It feels nice. It's a really good improvement on the Gel-Nimbus 24 and earlier, which I wasn't a big fan of. Asics has definitely made some big advances to this shoe, so I'm a big fan of it. I really like the FF Blast Plus midsole foam in it. It's just got a bit of everything, but for me, it's just not as versatile as the Saucony Triumph 21, which I think is really getting there as a competitor for daily shoes, and is, despite being quite heavily cushioned, it doesn't feel like that when you're trying to pick up the pace and stuff like that. It feels like a good, competent daily shoe that you can pick up the pace a bit more in. It's not the fastest shoe in the world, but for me, it's all about that versatility. And it's a shoe that can either fit into a rotation very nicely or be that one shoe that you want to use for everything. Gel-Nimbus 25, I think, really fits into that easy day, slower, long run category where you want a workhorse that just does the job. So yeah, I'm going for the Saucony Triumph 21, obviously.
So my verdict on whether you should go for the Saucony Triumph 21 or the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. Now I'll start by saying that these are two of the most comfortable new running shoes that I've run in, and I think if you are looking for a shoe that's well suited to soak up a lot of time on your feet, these are two standout options. Now if I had to pick one of them, I would just about be going for the Saucony Triumph 21. Now what I put that down to, so I do think, as well as being a very comfortable shoe, a shoe that's well suited for those long runs, those easy pace runs, I do think you have a little bit more scope to run a little bit quicker in it. Now I'm not saying speed work ultimately, but I do think if you want to pick the pace up a little bit in places and you want to do more up tempo running, I do think the Triumph 21 works a little bit better on that front. I think with the Gel-Nimbus 25, it definitely prioritises that comfort, whether that's from the upper, whether that's from what you're getting in the midsole, and just kept maintaining that ride ultimately and that level of comfort. Whereas I don't think it has the same versatility, particularly when you compare it to the previous Nimbus shoes as well too. I think durability wise, I think they're both well equipped to soak up a lot of time, as I said, on your feet. But if it was me and I was picking and one that's going to stick in my rotation for the same types of runs, I would be going for the Triumph 21. Ultimately, these are two good shoes if you want something that are designed for long, easy runs and you're not massively worried about your pace. But if you want something that's a little bit more versatile, I would say go the Saucony Triumph 21 based on my testing. Okay, so there you have it. That is our little comparison video on how the Saucony Triumph 21 compares to the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. Now, if you've got any questions about these two shoes or any other aspects that we haven't covered in this video, do let us know. As always, like and subscribe, hit that little bell to find out about the latest videos, and yeah, we'll see you in the next Run Testers video.